Hello everyone, my name is Dimitris Tsoubaris and I'm based in Athens, Greece.
Hi everyone, I'm Nelly Alfandari and I'm talking to you from the London South Bank University.
This research is about looking at how can critical pedagogies create an inclusive space for learning in secondary school classrooms. It took place in a science classroom exploring critical pedagogies at a mainstream school of a small urban town near London.
And that was in order to engage with the research questions. For one, how do critical pedagogies applied within science education shift the process of knowledge production and the agency of students within it as learners as well as critical actors? And what are the implications this has for the inclusion of students in the frame of science education within the neoliberal education system? This qualitative research drew on participatory observations, complemented by interviews, and the Theatre of the Oppressed workshop as research intervention. In this video presentation, we will mainly focus on the first question.
As their science teacher, I had been working on social and environmental issues relevant to the science curricula using the theoretical background of Stepwise. Stepwise is an acronym for Science and Technology Education, promoting well-being for individuals, societies, and environments. And it is a form of critical pedagogy that politicizes science education and positions students as agents of a positive change in their schools and wider community. It consists of three phases. In phase one, students reflect on what they know. In phase two, they are taught research and critical thinking skills. And in phase three, they apply new knowledge learned by doing their own research and plan an action to change the situation about an issue of their choice. Once one or more cycles of preparation activities are completed, students can independently lead research-informed socio-political actions that address social and environmental issues.
So in addition to participant observations and interviews, an image theater workshop with participants took place after the end of the project. The workshop was sound recorded and photographed. And in the workshops, the students and teacher were asked to create images of learning, power, and belonging in their classrooms. This is part of the Theatre of the Oppressed method. I'm now going to share with you an image of the place you feel most powerful to illustrate the method and get an insight into the participant reflections. So in this image, participants were asked to show a classroom where they felt the most powerful, and this brought up some of the power dynamics in the classroom. It highlighted certain shifts in power dynamics which had been ongoing throughout the critical science project, like the teacher who had been exploring with different positions throughout the critical science project and had gradually shifted from running the lessons from his desk to becoming a support person in student-led lessons. In this image, he shows how he feels powerful amongst the students, confronting his own desk, which perhaps symbolizes the institutional power. From here, he is facing Sam, whose image on top of the teacher's chair would be read as bad behavior in any other context. But in the theater workshop, it became constructive contribution. Exchanging perspectives allowed the two to engage with each other from swap positions. Yet Sam does not seem to reflect on the power he takes over his peers. Lola and Omari, positioned at the board, present themselves as knowledge providers in the way knowledge is provided within the traditional classroom from the board. This in fact reflects different comments Omari made throughout the project, which showed he valued a certain knowledge hierarchy between adults and students. Yet it also shows the importance for him to be recognized within that hierarchy.
In reflecting on how the critical pedagogy project engaged with the science lessons, as their teacher, I felt that students enjoyed and expressed pride in their work. I noticed that students defined by the school system as gifted and talented were challenged and inspired, particularly by the process of primary research. Many of them noted that they could improve their project by asking more people outside the school, targeting specific social groups, for example, vape shop owners, which I thought was very promising. Particularly during the third phase of the project, it was obvious that everyday life politics was present in the classroom. There was a meaningful collaboration that created a welcoming class atmosphere. Students supported one another in ways that I thought was much better in comparison to conventional lessons. On the other hand, I noticed that students defined by the school system as less able were challenged particularly by the open-ended nature of the project and found little space to participate in equal terms within the groups. Throughout my more recent experience with relevant work, I have found that hands-on work in the form of experiments that demonstrate socio-scientific issues can be really helpful in helping students reflect on socio-scientific issues.
So overall, the implementation of critical pedagogies was fruitful, yet the work was framed by the neoliberal institution, which was difficult to surpass. Students themselves were embedded within the taxonomy of neoliberal institutions and partly understood their success through it. However, they engaged with the learning beyond their usual classroom identities, which troubled fixed power roles and implied a shift in agency. Overall, the work enabled for certain power dynamics between staff, students, and institutions, as well as the learning, to shift, including the very power dynamics laid out by the critical pedagogical framework itself. The theater workshop highlighted the shifts in power dynamics between teacher and students throughout the project, and it offered opportunities for further shifts in forming subjectivities beyond the institutional discourse. Methodologically, this contributes to the debate of expanding the possibilities of research on inclusive education. While shifts in power dynamics were momentary, they provided an experience to students and teachers of a reimagined classroom. Thank you very much.